their job to do so to keep the country safe. You know, they can't have a bunch of terrorists coming in this country just blowing up stuff left and right. It's not just that they'll be killing people, but they'll be disrupting everything that's happening in the country, and they can't have that. So the government is spying on you, but they don't care about you specifically. Most of you've deluded yourself into thinking that you're doing something that anyone would care about, and that's just not true. The government sees you as a peon, okay? You're not important unless you're doing something that they care about, okay? So most of you are sexting dick pics, okay, or a picture of a woman's ass or something, or her tits. You're not doing anything that anyone cares about. Trust me. Okay, you're so worried about the government spying on you, but they don't care about you. To them, you're not important. And to most of you, I don't know where. I know probably from QAnon, another conspiracy theory-based, internet group who think that the president's rounding up pedophiles, which he's not. I assure you, he's not the kind of man who would devote his spare time to doing something that noble. It's to stomping out pedophiles. He's not going to do that. That's not who he is. Okay? I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I am mentally stable. Okay? Meaning I'm sane. And that's my burden because there's so many crazy people, conspiracy theory weirdos anymore that telling someone something based on your sanity really, they don't want to hear it. They don't like it. But the president is not rounding up any pedophiles. I hate to be the one to tell you this. I know you're going to think this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. The president is rounding up pedophiles, and it's all going to come out. That's what this one guy told me. It's all going to come out soon. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to be disappointed. But sometimes conspiracy theorists, they just move on to the next conspiracy, and they don't even acknowledge that what they said never happened. Like I was arguing with my cousin who's a conspiracy theorist about a geostorm one time, and when it never happened, he just moved on to the next conspiracy. He didn't stop with his conspiracy theories. He just moved on from one conspiracy that he said was going to happen. It never happened. Then he just went on to the next thing. He just moved on from geostorm not happening to saying the earth is flat. So the earth is flat is something that will be proven very soon, because very soon NASA is going to send up a rocket which has a camera on the outside of it, and it's going to record taking off from the earth until this spaceship goes all the way up into outer space. But the conspiracy theorists who think the earth is flat probably won't accept that video footage as real either. We're going to pause, take another break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. We got more to talk about besides dumb shit. We'll be right back.
And now, without further ado, the man we've all been waiting for, T Jam D. Welcome back to the show.
All right. I'm back. Okay. Moving on, but not actually moving on. Let's get to a little bit of sporting news. Well, first, let me hit on the what I've seen in entertainment, which hasn't been much, but theaters are starting to open back up. I've seen that. My daughter likes going to the theater, so she noticed, and she's only 6 years old. So I only take her to, movies that are for kids, not anything else. But she likes going to the theater. She likes playing with the seats. She likes the fact that the screen is so big. And, you know, her and I sit in the theater and watch movies. Or we used to. Before COVID. We don't do it anymore. We haven't done it since COVID. So we seen a movie was on. And the movie was Tenet. Was on at the theaters. And there were some people there. They were social distancing. I don't know if they were wearing masks. I'm guessing they were. But they're going to start having movies at the theater again, which, like I said, Tenet was already on. I don't know what else they were playing. This is a movie theater that they can show. They got 10 screens. It's called the Cinema 10. In my hometown here in Springfield, Ohio. But they only had 2 movies on. I don't know if they had those 2 movies on all the screens. Like, that's how big of a social distancing that they're going to do. Or they had just 2 screens going and the rest of them were shut down. I don't know. But I'm going to find out, because as soon as they are playing, I don't even remember what the other movie was that was on besides Tenet. But I know Tenet was on at the movie theater, and something else was playing. I'm not quite sure what it was, but I was not going to take her to see Tenet. So I told her we can't go to the movies right now. She was asking me why, and I said because this movie is not appropriate for children. And she was like, I don't know what that means. I forgot that she doesn't know what appropriate means, but I explained it to her. But anyway, as soon as they have a movie on that's made for kids, I'll be going back to the theater. I will. I'll be wearing my mask, and my kid wears the mask too. She wears the mask when we go to Walmart, and Kroger's and any other store that we go into. Sometimes I forget the mask though. But I got mask in my car. I leave them in there. I got mask at my house, and I got mask in the car. But I went to a Dollar General yesterday, and I forgot my mask. I was in the store walking around, and I seen one of the somebody else in there with a mask on. I was thinking, oh, damn, I forgot my mask. But I never did get the mask. I never went back out to the car to get it because I already had most of the items that I wanted in my hand. So I just went on up to the counter and paid for them and left. But I was thinking, damn, sometimes I forget the mask. I actually forget the mask. And if they don't have a sign that said masks are required, Walmart has that sign out there. Even though they won't make you put the mask on. Walmart won't. They won't want to argue with you, which who can blame them? Who wants to sit there and argue with jackasses walking into the store knowing they're supposed to have a mask on and just refusing to have it on? But, yeah, the theaters are opening back up. So, things are trying to get back to normal, even though the COVID, it seems to be worse than it was when they shut everything down. Stuff is still going to open back up. Just going to be wearing masks until this vaccine is approved and out there for everybody besides police and firemen and, medical professionals. They're going to get the vaccine first when it does come out anyway, so it won't be something that's for the public. And if I was a medical professional or a policeman or a fireman, I'd be afraid to be one of the first people who takes the vaccine. I wouldn't do it because they're rushing it. Anything that's rushed, they're making a mistake. It's going to kill people. So I wouldn't take it I wouldn't be one of the first ones. I'm no guinea pig. Had this guy ask me if he could give me a tattoo one time, and he just started giving tattoos. I said, I don't think so. You go ahead and practice on your friends, and once you get good at it, then I'll pay you to put a tattoo on me, but you're not practicing on me. I don't want you fucking up tattoos on my arm or somewhere on my body. Not a guinea pig. But in other news, sporting news, the Lakers beat the Nuggets, and they're moving on to the NBA Finals. The Celtics are having problems with the Heat. That series is 3-2 in favor of the Heat, actually, even though the Celtics are favored. The Lakers won their series, and they're moving on. Which brings me to another conspiracy theory that I heard. Now, for those of you who are, before I get to this, football's ramping up. The Big Ten decided to play. I think they're only going to play 8 games, which is a bummer because they need to play at least 10. I mean, the other schools are still going to play their 12 games, and the Big Ten will only play 8. That's not really fair for them to have a school to go to the playoffs and only have played 8 games when the other teams have played 12. And I'm a Buckeye fan, so I'm just being objective here and telling you the truth. The president of the Big Ten really screwed this up. Should have just let the parents and the players vote on whether you should play or not. That's who should have been voting on it. Parents and players, not anybody else. Presidents can't decide for 1,000 kids and their parents whether they should play or not. Give them all the medical knowledge that you have and let them decide whether they want to play or not. Parents and players. If a kid gets COVID, quarantine him at the university. Don't let him leave. Don't let him be around anybody else until he gets over it. Then let him go back to playing or back to practice. But it should have just been the parents and the players making the decision on whether if they have all the knowledge that there is about the virus and they still want to play, let them play. That's my opinion. But maybe it's just me. Because sometimes, people don't agree with me. I say, well, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. They usually find out later that I was right, they was wrong. But I let them, find that out. I don't just argue with people all the time. But anyway, for those of you who are sports fans, and LeBron James is, most people know who he is. Even if you're not a sports fan, you've heard the name. You know he's a basketball player in the NBA, and he came from Ohio. He was born in Akron, played for the Ohio team, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And he is one of the best players in the history of the NBA. So, LeBron James used to have this ritual. Not an actual ritual, but his own little personal ritual that he done with the chalk that they put on their hands. Some of the players put it on their hands before the game, and it helps them grip the ball better. And LeBron James used to have this ritual where he would take some of the chalk, put it on his hands, and then he would throw the rest of it, the excess chalk, up into the air. Now, some idiot, some lady on a conspiracy theory said LeBron James is part of the Illuminati. He is throwing up the chalk to conjure up demons. And, of course, that's ridiculous. It's nonsensical. It's not true. And it's just plain stupid. And once I heard it, I thought, oh, my God, some more conspiracy bullshit. I mean, this conspiracy theory garbage is getting worse, not better. LeBron James is not conjuring up demons. LeBron James, if you want to know the truth, which is not sexy, when he first joined the league, he was a Cleveland Cavalier player, and Kevin Garnett used to get some of this chalk. Kevin Garnett at that time, I do believe, played for Boston Celtics.